Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. So how is it going? I hope they always be fine, healthy, and safe as well. And in this pandemic, guys, we should to more maintain our health and always obey the protocol, right? But guys, in this video today, I will not talk about pandemic or COVID-19, but I would like to tell you about the one of the material I had learned before in my college. And this material was taken from cross-cultural understanding, and the material is culture and language. And it's an honor to Mrs. Nialiska Saputri that as my lecturer in cross-cultural understanding subject, and thank you very much to you that had teach us for 6 months in a semester, and you teach us very clear and well. So I can't retell this material again in this video, but I'm so sorry if there are any mistakes in this video that what I tell to you. Yeah, so guys, before I tell you the material more deeply, I'll give you some of points of this material that I'll tell you more. And the material, and the points are: first is the definition of culture, and second is contemporary cultural analogies, and third is culture in general, and fourth is analogy of culture, and fifth is the definition of culture refers to publication, and sixth is learning theories, and seventh is types of culture, and eighth is features of culture, and ninth is categories cultural universal from conjoining red, and the last, this is the relationship between culture and language. Okay guys, let's go to the first point. What's the first point? Yeah, that is the definition of culture. So guys, do you know culture of etymology was taken from Latin, and it is cultura, and the meaning is growing or cultivation. And culture, by the terminology, I have 3 experts that tell about the definition of culture. The first is culture by British anthropologist Edward Tyler. Culture is that complex whole which includes knowledge, art, beliefs, morals, law, custom, and any other capacities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. And second, culture by Newmark. Culture is a way of life of certain society which is expressed by certain language. And third, culture by Larson and Smelly. Culture is blueprint. It guides the behavior of people in community and is developed in family and helps us to know what we can do and what our responsibilities as a member group. So guys, that is the definition of culture. So now we will go to the next point. And the second point is contemporary cultural analogies, and here is 4 basic features. First is culture is social inheritance, not biological heritage. And second, culture is shared by the community, not belonging to the individual. And third is culture is symbolic meaning system in which language is important. And fourth is culture unified system. The integral parts which are closely related to one another, and such as music, tradition, and custom. So that is the second point. We'll go to the next point. And the third point is culture in general. Culture in general divided into 3 categories. First is material culture. Material culture is like products of human manufacture. And second is social culture. It's like people's forms of organization. And third is ideological culture. It's like such as the values and beliefs. And tradition, yeah, that is. So guys, we'll go to the next point. The next point is culture analogy. The most point that I very like here, because before I just think that culture just the difference of culture, but culture has a lot of meaning, and it's very interesting for me. So guys, the culture is like an iceberg. The top of the iceberg is the small part, and the most of the iceberg is submerged. So it means if you can see the top of the iceberg, you can see the surface. But in the culture, it means like you can see the surface, it's just the visible thing in the culture. such as beliefs and behavior. But if you can see more deep in the iceberg, it's very complex in the culture. It means you can see the invisible thing in the culture, like values and thought patterns, right? So you should to understand the other culture that you will serve, and it will decrease some of misunderstanding, like between the culture. And next is definition of culture refers to publication. It's by Alfred Robert and Clay Clarken and American Enterprises in 1959. First is topical culture. Topical culture consists of everything on a list of topics or categories. It's such as social organization and economy and religion. And second is historical culture. Historical culture is social heritage or tradition passed on to the next future generation. And third is behavioral culture. Behavioral culture is shared learn human behavior in a way of life. And fourth is normative culture. Normative culture is ideals and values or rules of living. And next is functional culture. Functional culture is the way of humans to solve the problems of adapting to the living together. And sixth is mental culture. Mental culture is a complex ideas or learned habits that inhibits impulses and distinguish the people from the animal. Next is structural culture. Structural culture consists of patterns and relates ideas or symbols and behavior. And next is symbolic culture. Symbolic culture based on the arbitrarily assigned meaning. So guys, we'll go to the next point. The next point is learning theories. Learning theories culture is everyday lifestyle of the ordinary citizens. And here is some definition from the experts. First is from Edward Septia. And it said, culture is pattern of the behavior. And second is from Good Enough. It's a culture is knowing acceptable manner to its member. And next is from John Donne. The collective identity of each of us is a part. And next is from Larson and Smelly. It's a blueprints that guide the behavior of people in community and is developed in family. And next is from Condon. It said a system of integrated patterns, most of which unconsciously govern human behaviors, like of the puppet. And next is George Peter Murdoch. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he said that the 7 cultural patterns of behavior. So we'll go to the next. Next is types of culture. First is corporate culture. It's a culture or tradition that occur in a company. It's like the characteristic or law in a company, like the Microsoft's company or Apple company, something like that. And second is professional culture. It's a culture or tradition that in a profession. It's like a lawyer, doctor, or teacher. And next is gender, culture between men and women. And next is age, culture in every age. I think the tradition also and the characteristic. And next is religious culture, culture about morals and law, such as Islam and Christian and many others. And next is regional cultural. It's like culture from the West or Asian people. And next is class culture. It's like level in the class social. Yes, like in Indonesian it's like strata social. The next point is features of culture. Is many of features here, and it's divided into 2 categories. It's visible features and invisible features. Invisible features we can see like music, literature, or sense of dressing, our gesture, religious rituals, bedding, and facial expressions, and holiday custom. Yeah, something that we can see uh, as visible. And in the invisible features, we can see like values and child raising beliefs and religious beliefs and concept of leadership, concepts of beauty, concepts of fairness and generous worldview, and what else like natures of friendships and importance of time. That's all the invisible features that we cannot see easily, and this is the important thing for us, that the function is for avoiding the some misunderstanding between culture differences. So we'll go to the next point. And next is categories cultural universal by Conjoning-Rat in 1990. And these cultural categories divide into 7 categories. And first is language, and second is knowledge system, and third is social organization, and fourth is life tool system, and fifth is livelihood system, and sixth is religion system, and the last seventh is art. So guys, we will go to the next point. Is it the last point? Yeah, that's right. This is the last point. And that is the relationship between culture and language. So guys, the language is very important for us as a function for communication. And also the language is a paramount role. It's for elaborating, transmitting, and for developing. And if you don't master a certain language of a culture, and it will be difficult to understand the culture exactly, and it will be a misconception constituting serious difficulties for cross-cultural understanding. So guys, communication is the most essential part of living, and this is important for us to understand the culture and the language. Between for them, it's very important to avoid misunderstanding between cross-cultural or cultural differences. So that is that I can tell, and I'm sorry, here is a lot of mistakes here.
So guys, thank you for watching this video, and I'm sorry in advance because I got a technical problem here for classing. So thank you for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you guys.